Today I'm doing a repair on a Big Buck HD gun cable. I've already cut it off. I had a bad end. I snipped it off the end. I cut my zip ties too that are usually at the ends here of the cable so I could feed more through and have more slack to do this repair. Go ahead and strip our wires away. Now we got the outer housing, the grounding cable here. We're going to go ahead and separate it. So we'll take I got a pick device or an instrument, maybe a sharp tool, and you're unbraiding the grounding line. There's a few scrap pieces that probably got damaged when it was stripping the insulation, but for the most part I've got a lot of the ground left. You only really need to, I really undo just one side because I'll bring it around the opposite end and wire it all together to be just one wire. Or I guess twist it all together, twist the pairs together. Or the bundle. Now, your terminal pins that you've got, they're not that large, so you're not actually going to need all of this. You need to probably be about probably get away with using about half of it to make this pin. Maybe about a third. Let's see. Might get away. Take some nips and go ahead and just cut that excess back. There we are. Twist that into a line. And we'll go ahead and remove the foil insulation. Alright, so we've got our wires separated out, and now we're going to prepare for starting to do the terminals, each individual terminal. And here's just a little mock-up drawing. As it goes into the gun and connects to the Big Buck gun, it actually takes about a 45-degree turn before it installs, or I guess at an angle at each end. It would be overall it'd be 90 hard left, but you're making a curve in the wires. So we don't want to cut our wires straight across the top, because if you do that, you'll end up with a plug that wants to go straight in, and it'll end up resisting on these points, and that's where you end up breaking your lines on the terminal plug. So we're going to cut them at an angle is what we're going to end up doing in the long run. We're going to curve these lines around and cut them so that it'll fit better when it clamps into the terminal on the PCB in the gun. The next step I have taken is I have all the lines all the wires placed in the order of what they go from the way it installs into the Big Buck player gun. And I folded them over and I kept them at the angle, and then I'm going to cut them off square out here, and then once I release them they should end up with different lengths, which is what I'm trying to achieve here. You can see I cut them off all at the angle, and now I'm going to stretch them all out. And there they went out of order, but when I put them back in the order they should go in. Each one will decrease in length accordingly. There, so you can see it. So that way whenever I fold them over and plug them into the actual terminal and it connects, I should have less stress on the ends of the lines. I'm going to go ahead and strip these wires, and I'm going to strip the ends and prepare them to go into the terminals. Use strippers here for some 24 gauge. It's the smallest handheld stripper that I got. Pretty thin wires. I think I'm going to end up having to double them up. There we go. Alright, so I'm not happy with the result. That stripper ended up taking some excess wire with it. So I'm going to recut these and try this again. See if I can get more threads, because just two leads coming out of it, there's nothing. Alright, so I got it all set back up, recut my lengths, trimmed everything short again, and I got a different set of strippers out to try using it, and the auto strippers, and I backed out the tension quite a bit here, just so it wouldn't cut my lines, and I'm putting it through, I'm stripping about a ½ inch, so I'm looking to get, and these are not tearing the wires out, so thank goodness. And before you start compressing any of these terminals and crimping them on, I'll let you know about this molex terminal connector installer. You want to, whenever you're installing it, you'll want your terminal that you're installing to kind of rest on this base here. I'm showing you on the bigger side one, even though I'm going to be working on these smaller ends. But you want it to rest on this base, and you want the two wings that you're folding over to secure the terminal, you want those to be up in this upper part that kind of is shaped like an M, because that is going to roll and curl both of those sides. That way they'll come up and they're going to both curl in to lock down on the wire. So you want to make sure and have your wings to be up, and your terminal that you're actually putting on there, the base of it, to install in the rest of this, basically the tooth that's pushing it up in there. Now with them all stripped, I'm going to go ahead and take them, and I want to fold these in half, because I want to give that terminal more to bite on when I install it. Help it get better signal, or I guess maintain a better signal. Alright, now it's time to start crimping on the molex terminals. Got a set of molex crimpers here. I'm going to go in the smallest option.
2 on 5. And
Let's see, I can come back this way. No, gotta go that way.
copy that.
Okay, we'll just start with the red one first. Sorry, I gotta set these down and get this set up proper. Alright. Slide it in. pattern up. Now I'm going to move it up to the... So I've crimped the wires in, but now I'm going to move up the lead to wrap around the insulation and secure it. There we go, so we got the terminal on. I'm going to follow suit and I'm going to do that to all of them, and then we're going to insert it into the actual housing. Now it's time to install it into the terminals, and I just want you to make note that there's little catch tabs on the, or it's time to install it into the housing. Probably not easy to see, but there's little catch tabs on these terminals, and they're going to secure into these little square holes on the back of the terminal plug on the molex connector. So make sure to insert them the right way. And you may want to use something small to push them in the rest of the way and secure them till they click in those latches. There we go, and it's caught and secured, so that shouldn't come out. Go with the white one next. It'd be green and black. And then the final shield. Sorry, that was giving me a little bit of trouble. Okay, so now, as I turn the plug, you should have enough slack in all the lines that when I plug it in, none of them will break, taking that turn, going actually into plug into the gun itself. So there you got your little bit of turn ratio on the curve instead of being a flat plug. Alright. Now I got a voltage meter out. I went ahead and set it to the audible because we're going to test these leads and make sure that everything connected properly. So I'll go ahead and test the shield wire first by touching to the outside of the USB. So I'm getting actually a signal there, if I can hold it on properly. Good deal. Now we need to go through and we'll test the other ones. This is going to be a little bit more difficult, but I'll go ahead and I'm going to test them by touching on the tabs that lock it in on the back side of the molex connector. So I'm getting a signal on that one. Go to the next one. So far so good. And the final line. Everything seems to be checking out on this USB repaired plug for the Big Buck HD. One last thing to mention here that we haven't done yet, because I don't have it installed in the gun. Once I get this and get it installed in the gun, this is the end that goes in the gun housing itself. Then I would push this USB cable back as far as I needed it to go, just enough to connect to the gun, and I'd place a zip tie around here, which would meet up with this, but it would butt against here, so it can't pull any more out. And I'd also re-zip tie the other end once it gets where it needs to be, and secure it so that it couldn't slide either. So, but for right now, since I don't have it in the gun, I can't tell those distances. I'm not going to zip tie these ends, but you need to secure one at both ends there to keep the cable from unplugging from the actual gun in itself.